die for one turn. Like, you'll go down to 1 health, but you can't die for 1 turn. So, no point in, like, trying to full finish him off. Alright, move this guy forward. Shield wall, which will buff the defense of the people around him for 1 turn. These archers are so far away, they're horribly inaccurate right now. So we're going to move that whole stack forward a bit. That helps a little. Okay, they landed... That was kind of lucky. That was a 45% chance for 2 arrows in a row, and we landed both of them. Raise Undead. There's no targets right now. Alright, so let's do Conjure Wild Growth here. Now, this move, I cannot move and cast this in the same turn, but it's a very powerful move. It's an AoE defense buff, heal, and regeneration. But I can attack and do it in the same turn. So, get him a little bit lower. Alright. I think we're done with our turn. Alright. Invulnerable guy attacks. One of them summons ice spiders. One of them summoned a totem thing. They killed the summoned bird. They're attacking the scrap hermit. This guy teleported into my backline. Okay. What is the summoned thing? It's another astral ward. So it's another one of those things that will absorb damage for another unit, but they didn't connect it to anything yet. Okay. Alright, so we're going to take our Bone Wyvern. This is a summoned unit that we get for free every battle because of some talent tree stuff I took. So if it dies, it'll still come back on the next battle. And we're going to start harassing these mages. Alright, so the knights can finish off that hero. The shield is going to bash into this guy. And then we'll have the liege guards here beat on them. He's not in range to attack. But, I'm trying to decide if it's better for me to attack or for me to move. Wait. Oh. He's technically a ranged unit, because he's a caster giant, so he cannot do a ranged attack if something is within melee range of him. So if he steps forward to try to hit those guys, he's then within melee range of this. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll do Conjure Wild Growth on these, and buff and heal those, and then drop an obelisk on this guy. Alright, Archer. Alright, so the Bone Wyvern is connected to this guy, so I know this damage is going to get transferred, but it's still the best target. Okay, what happened there? Was that a graphical bug? That blue beam should have been a damage transfer. I can see her moves. I don't see anything else that could have been. So I am confused. I don't know what that was. Maybe the bond was the other direction? I don't think Bone Wyvern... I mean, Bone Wyverns don't have the bond skill. I don't know what happened there. But in any case, the Bone Wyvern's dead. Alright. Next unit, this guy... This guy's kind of stuck. So he's just going to hold position. He's going to hold position. Alright, end turn. And then you'll see all the regen ticks from the wild growth I've done. I really, really love that Swift Conjure Wild Growth skill. It's not a spell, it doesn't take mana. It's you could just keep using it as long as that unit's alive. But the biggest weakness of it is you can't use it in water battles. Alright. So here, we're going to Wild Growth on the left group. Give them buffs again. And then we can drop an obelisk on those 4 targets, which puts bleeding and decaying on all of them. And then archers unload on this guy. That sounded like 4 hits, didn't it? It sounded like tap, 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 tap. They fired 3 shots. Why did I hear 4? Maybe if they roll a crit, it sounds like a double tap or something? Alright, Liege Guards. Okay, one down. And then this guy's just going to shield wall his buddy because he can't get in there. Alright, so the knights have a charging attack. The more movement they do before they hit, the more damage they do. So although they could bop this guy next to them, we're going to have them build up speed and ram into this group way over here. Which one-shot kills them. And then Dragon get in the face of these mages. And shield slam this guy. And this Liege Guard is going to hit him. Okay, and turn. This is looking pretty good, pretty safe. Oh, this guy summoned another Rolly Bomb. Okay, they killed the dragon. Again, summoned unit. Not bad. Heal those guys. And slam that one. Knights charge into that. Archers missed, unfortunate. Rolly Bomb is going to hit us in a sec. Alright, not too bad. Alright, Knights. Charge him again. Nice. That went really well. 78 food, because we just eat them. You have scavenged equipment from the defeated heroes. Frostbringer Axe. Signet of Flanking. True Seeing Bottle. Units in the army cost less upkeep. You can now see invisible stuff. Pyromancer's Demon Bane. It's a magic staff. Okay. Delicious heroes. Nom 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 nom. So this makes the army cheaper. Just as the last of his adventurers is felled by your troops, Baldur reveals his hiding position, raising both hands in surrender. I give up, he squeals in deadly terror, holding up an ornate strongbox. Here, take this. I am rich. I am of greatest value to the company of lost treasures. When alive, I assure you. Baldur the Vanguard slowly regains his countenance, opening the strongbox. Behold the Flow Rock crest, the gem of this giant king's treasury. A worthy present for a giant daddy, is it not? Sometimes I forget I called my guy Giant Daddy. You defended your claim to the deep glitter chambers. Taking the Flowrock crest, the fate of the pitiful Baldur the Vanguard remains yours to decide. You gain the Flowrock crest. Unlocks production of the Giant Forum Special Province improvement in your cities, which gives Imperium. The Giant Forum receives the following buffs. Production income, gold production mine, blah, 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 blah. Barter or ransoms, you can get a ton of gold. Sentence Baldur the Vanguard and expose the shady practices of the Company of Lost Treasures. Or interrogate him to learn about his stashed equipment hoard. If I interrogate him, I capture him. So I guess he's in my prison. You gain the Slippery Band, the Robe of Hexing, and the Crown of Accuracy. I think I'd rather sentence him and expose the shady practices. Oh, wait. When you sentence him, he moves to your crypt. So you execute him. But yeah, I'm going to sentence him and get Imperium.
You have acquired an artifact.
Oh.
Artifacts are unique magical objects that grant global bonuses to the empires that own them.
Sweet. Show artifacts. Okay. So there's 3 on this map, and I have one of them. Awesome. Alright, so I want to take the Gelid throne now. So we're going to build an outpost right there. Okay. Alright, where was this guy going? Oh, he was going up there, that's right. Okay. These 2 guys are going to go join the giant army. We're gonna, you're farming. 180 hours in, you got an achievement? Well, artifacts were not in the game when I last played this. And I don't think they're in multiplayer, or at least we never found them in our 4v4 that we recently did. So I think artifacts are new. And that's why. That was my first time getting one. The achievement I just got was get an artifact. Alright, so the thing I wanted to try out... is basically, I'm going to put a Storm Stelly here and see if it gets rid of the Ashland. That's kind of an experiment. If it doesn't, then I just lose some mana. Not a huge deal. Cathedral of Testament. You're on auto. Okay, so this finished building a wizard tower thing. Wizard tower teleportation circle. Oh, that's a lot of mana. Could start building the giant forum that we just unlocked. It says it does better when it's next to special province improvements. So like the farmstead is one, the herbalist is one. All right, there's not really a good place for it right now, so we'll hold off on that. Get Masonic Hall. Bindleton has produced a library. Can you 100% a map? Do you mean just like open up the whole thing, like explore it, or 100% like do everything on the map? I think both of those, the answer is yes. Right, he's done. Negotiation succeeded. This vassal likes me a little bit more. Insulted. This guy likes me a little bit less. Okay. Do everything, get everything? Yeah. Like, there's multiple victory conditions, and you can disable the ones that you don't like. But one of the victory conditions... Okay, hold on a sec. So I've got a unit that it will not end its turn, so the game's, like, bugging out. Is it this freaking guy again? Yes, it is. You can disable certain win conditions and make it so, like, basically conquering the world is the only win condition remaining. You can do that. You do have a city limit? Well, you can raise that, though. Hang on. So up here... oh. Timeout. Oh, okay, so Blue is asking if she should change her thing. Right now she's a duelist and she levels by slaying heroes in combat. You can change her to Imperialist, where she levels by battling cities, or a Shepherd, where she levels by evolving or promoting units in her army. Stay as a duelist. Alright, so this thing, you can buy this thing here that increases your city cap, and it gets more expensive each time, but you can keep buying it. So, in theory, you can cover the map with cities. Plus, you can go over the city cap, it's just painful to do so, because you take hits to your economy. Alright, building an outpost here to claim this thing, which that guy is, this guy here is not gonna like, but oh well. Fire Giant. Auto, see what happens. Okay. Resilient Boltbane. Disenchant. I'm not gonna need that. Ooh, retry. Water battle. Okay, alright. So this army... So, hold on, heal that guy. This army does not have my giant. This army is led by Michaelis, who is a berserker. So... The main thing to be concerned with is... The polearm units do massively increased damage to cavalry. Someone riding on a giant bird is considered cavalry. Charge block, so I cannot charge that unit. I'm gonna try going around and see what happens. We can always hit retry if this goes terribly. They can shoot over that? I didn't think they'd have line of sight. Alright, so we're gonna fly over this. We're gonna curse this guy, which shreds his defenses, and then finish the charge. Alright, that's 2/3 of his health. Alright, we're having the defenders handle the polearm guys. Alright, so all of these guys attacked on their turn, so none of them are in defensive stance. So we're going to use hold the line on this group, which forces them into defensive stance after their turn. Defensive stance just simply raises your armor a bit at the end of your turn. Uh-oh, that one's taking a beating. Alright, archers... Okay. Oh, alright, so all Naga enchanted units, which are like, they've got the snake bodies on the lower half, they have a skill called Slip Away, where when they're about to die, they port away. It happens once per unit per battle. Morning, Mugajad. Hey, Bluebell! Alright, we're gonna heal that guy. He's the lowest. Alright, let's try using Execute on this one. Resisted. So sad. Alright, charge that one. It uses Slip Away, as expected. Let's see. Let's use Healing Roots on this guy. I'll give him regen. So now he heals at the end of each turn. I keep wanting to hear Dabu Zug Zug. Yeah, you can make some orcs that, like, I would say if you play orcs and you play the barbarian culture, they kind of look like Warcraft orcs. Alright. Slam into that guy. Half his health. Alright, he slips away and finish him off with another unit. Shields. You kind of have Warhammer ogres, big tanky cannibals. Yeah, that was what someone said when we started playing this. Someone was like, you know, they could be cannibals, so that's like Warhammer. I was like, all right. Charge that one. Now see, if I charged this, it would have killed him, but that would have gotten rid of 1 unit. This has 4 units, so by charging it, I killed 2 of them. Alright, can I heal again? Yes, I can. Alright. Do that. Use aspect of the roots. I almost forgot about this. This is that ability that we got where once per tank unit per battle, we can have them heal themselves. This was from one of the nature books. So I can use that on the tanks that are low health right now. Plus, the one at the end of the beam is soaking damage from the hero still. Can I replace the, out of range? Okay. Okay, that one uses slip away. Alright, we're gonna do healing roots on this guy, just to help him keep surviving the channeled damage. Do you guys think the day Mux misses a stream, it's gonna be one of the 4 signs of the apocalypse? Alright, that one's done. That one's done. Alright, now we just got the big turtles. I really like this unit when I'm playing the type of build where you summon beasts to fight for you. These things cannot leave the water, so you can, if you summon them, whether you meant to or not, they stay in the water. They cannot leave the water, but they have regeneration, and they can link to other units and buff themselves in the linked unit every turn. They feel like a very strong early game unit. Or a root canal. Yeah, I streamed after the root canal. Mike turning on stream with a swollen face. I would say the worst it ever was, you know how when some people got COVID, it was just like nothing, but when some people got COVID, it was just like the worst flu they've ever had? I was the latter. When I caught COVID after either my wife or my kid brought it home, and my kid was over it in like a day. My wife in like a couple days. For me, it was like one of the worst flus I've ever had for like a week. And during one of those days, I felt so bad, and I tuned in, and my voice was shot, and I was like, yeah, guys, today we're doing Mukluk ASMR. You know, and we were kind of just like leaning into it and joking about it and stuff like that. But I was messed up, and after like an hour, I was like, guys, I gotta lay down. The streak continues. Y'all have a great night. And I had to leave. Alright, so I just cursed that guy. Let's try using execute. Got it. Alright, so really banged up, but we got through that. So part of the reason is, in this army, oh, Assassin's Dagger, by the way. In this army, I made it to where the main unit was a melee, and so it has a healer unit instead of a healer hero. And healer units are nowhere near as good as healer heroes. So I had a lot less sustain in that army. Might be good to make a better lance for this person. What can we do with them? So, hold on. Is there any two-hand weapons that you can use on a mount besides a lance? No, 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 no. That's a lance. That's a lance. Lance. No. Looks like a lance is the only two-hand weapon you can use while mounted. Okay. Radiant damage? Does physical, fire, and spirit. What? Power cleave. Attacks units in a 1-hex cone. That's kind of neat. Provoke. Alright, I'm going to try making the fanciest weapon I can and see if I have the materials to do it. 90% chance of centering defense, inflict taunted, poison, distracted, inflict remorse. Hero Slayer plus 40% damage to heroes. Frenzy, every time you land an attack, you get a buff. Oh, that's it. It says I can't do any more because of adding this thing. All right, so if I remove that, so if I add Hero Slayer, I can't add much else. Or I could do multiple debuffs. I could do, like, you know, bleeding and poisoned on the weapon. If I disenchant a few things, I could make this. So I need some of this second material here. Okay, there. So I can make this. Poison on hit, bleed on hit, buff self on hit, and do 3 types of damage. Sure, let's do that. That arsenal, I was unfamiliar with the game, sir. Yeah, I had a handful of stuff that it was kind of in my mind, it was in the maybe I'll use that category, you know? But, then, you know, at this moment, it was like, no, I'd rather break it to make another thing. Okay. So our giant is going to come out of that tunnel and then rejoin these guys in a minute. Yeah, we trespassing. Sorry. That's just a scout. You just keep exploring. You keep exploring. Alright, House of Hunger. Plus mana and Imperium income. Nom 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 nom. Alright, and then let's add a watchtower to this camp, so it has more vision. Bindleton can expand. I can't reach Everell until this is done. You know what? We are rich. I'm going to spend a bunch of money, which will finish the construction of that town hall, which will increase how far away I can expand. And now we can reach Everell, which gives us food and Imperium each turn. Nice. Okay. And now, Stonemason is more production, so we build faster. We'll do that. Vassalage going good. All right, I think we're good. Also, kind of want to watch this. So again, we're watching. I think it's already working. Wasn't there Ash under Reaper's Hollow? I think the Stella thing is working. Keep watching this. Because I think Ashlands can't have rivers. So if you add a river to Ashlands, it forcibly makes it a grasslands. Which was not the intent, but it's a bonus. Yep, there we go. There we go. Beautiful. That is useful knowledge. There is a spell that adds grassland to a tile, but it's a really high level nature magic. So if you